the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
touching the matter in issue
shall
Can
be
we have some order, please?
the whole truth
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable nominee, you are welcome. On behalf of the members of this committee, I'd like to congratulate you on your nomination as Deputy Minister Designate for the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We will take you through some questioning, starting from your own CV and then Article 94. Then a few other questions concerning the position you are being nominated for and other national issues, if any. Honorable Harun Idrisu will set the ball rolling.
Chairman, thank you very much. Yamin, congratulations. Can we go to the very first page of your CV? 2008 to date, you are still doing Associate of Science in Computer Maintenance Technology. Is it an online course?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, it is.
Why is it taking you so long to complete it? 2008 to 2013, 5 years down the line. You have any explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a distance course, and there are shipments in it. And for that matter, it takes 1 to 3 months before a shipment comes in. And so if you are a resident in the USA, it's 4 years because it's a 4-semester program, 1 semester each. But if you are outside the United States,
Please, let's have some order, please.
it's a 4 to 6 year period, sir.
Have you been certificated for the Diploma in Computer Maintenance, which you completed in 2007?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes.
Between 1997 and probably 1998, what did you do with your life?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 1997, 1998, I tried enlisting into the Ghana Armed Forces. And unfortunately, I was disqualified on the basis that I wasn't a Ghanaian. And I must say that brought me into active politics, because at that time, I decided to seek redress at the castle. And I moved there just because I thought I was unfairly being treated. Thank you.
I'm asking that because in page 2 of your CV, when we get to 1996, 1997, we don't know what happens until somewhere again in 2002. So we need to fill in the gaps. What you probably, beyond disqualification from joining the military, what did you do?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was then sent to Ghana Wildlife Department to work at, I was taken to Adan for coastal wetline program. So we were in charge of protecting the coast, especially sea turtles. And I came back again in 1997, 1998, as I was told. I told earlier, I was disqualified based on the fact that I wasn't a Ghanaian. I then developed interest.
No, coming back to that issue, where does your mother come from?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My mother comes from the Upper West region.
So specifically, which part of the Upper West region?
Sankana.
Sankana.
In the Nadoli district.
Okay, so does that make you a non-Ghanaian?
Not at all, Mr. Chairman.
Do you owe allegiance to any other state other than Ghana?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No.
Have you filed your tax returns that if chairman wanted your tax clearance certificate, this committee will be provided one?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we were told to submit it to the IRS, which I did. And I was originally billed for tomorrow. And so they told me to come for it today. And I was changed to appear this time, but I have it and I've submitted to the IRS.
Just the third page of your CV. You were unsuccessful parliamentary candidate for the NDC. Is that right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
204 and 208. Can you show which constituencies, the period?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kwadaso constituency. In 2004, it was a newly created constituency out of Bantuma constituency. And 2008, the same constituency, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, this is just a passing one. You were turned away from joining the military, yet you say President Armed Forces Methodists. You are allowed to worship with them?
I am a barracks boy, and I lived all my life in the barracks. And the only church in the barracks as at that time, today we have a number of churches there. It's Methodist Presby Church, and that's where I worship.
Yes, Honorable Baba Jamal.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I really will crave your indulgence to probe more on this turn away from joining the armed forces, because it needs to be clarified. On what basis were you turned away from the armed forces? Because, and what did you do? What action was taken to rectify it? Because by all your documents here and the investigation that we've done behind the scenes, you are a full Ghanaian. So on what basis were you turned away, and what action did you take, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is one difficult thing that I'm trying to unravel, because I don't understand why I was turned away twice. The first attempt was to enter the Ghana Air Force. I was turned away. The second attempt was the armed forces. Again, I was also turned away. I don't understand. I don't clearly understand.
Maybe you might as well try the Navy.
Okay. Or the Immigration Service.
Yes, Honorable Alfred Agbesi.
You see, in your CV, you stated that your hometown is Sankana in the Upper West region. You were asked, where does your mother come from? You mentioned a place in Ghana. So that qualifies to be a Ghanaian. Is it that when you were sending papers for wherever you wanted to go, you didn't state this basis first, which will make the authorities know that you are a Ghanaian?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did provide all of this, but like I said earlier, I don't understand the motive behind this sending me out of the enlistment grounds. I think it's unfair, but I couldn't complain as at that time.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm surprised that all the members are concentrating on his mother and nobody is asking about his father. Fathers are always forgotten and deserted. But, Mr. Chairman, just some few comments. I just want to draw the attention of the nominee that the pages are not numbered, so you may want to take note of that. And then also, the second page, selected workshops, seminars, and conferences. There's a problem with educational, Bureau of Educational, I think the letter T is missing. I want to take interest in church activism and then your hobbies. Are you still an officer of the Boys and Girls Brigade? Because you say System Company 2007 to date.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I am still a member.
So at least you are making up for your inability to join the regular forces.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, interests and hobbies. I think that the first one, service to humanity, is rather broad. Can you give us some specifics? Exactly what do you mean by service to humanity? And then hunting. I also have interest in that. What do you hunt? And you don't seem to have any interest in sports, and yet you are going to youth and sports. If you can also comment on that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I start from the last question. I've been an active footballer all my life, but watching Honorable Samson, he just passed. He said he wasn't a goalkeeper. I was a goalkeeper. I've played football. For some time. I still have the qualities of keeping the post for Ghana if my services will be needed. So that one I have the sport. And I've been a sportsman my life. Hunting is not only about animals, it's also about human beings, because in the Bible, Jesus said Peter will be fishing humans. And so as a politician, I do both. I fished human beings for the
Mr. Chairman, these are very dangerous grounds. Hunting of human beings. The nominee will have to come clean with the committee.
I did that and had 600,000 votes for the NDC in Ashanti region, but that's just on the lighter note. I enjoy hunting. I hunt any animal. It's a game, and I feel I enjoy doing it, which I still do as at now. Well, like you said, it's broad, but my passion is to help come across whoever I could assist, and that is exactly what I do in all fields. If I should come across anybody that needs my assistance, I just do it without any reservation. Thank you.
Yeah, still on the CV?
Yeah, final on the CV. And final on the CV to me, and also coming back to the fact that you were turned away sometime. Can you speak any Ghanaian language?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How many? Yeah.
I understand the Dagati small. At least I cannot be bullied with it, but that's how far I can go. But I can speak Twi. I read and write Twi because I've lived all my life in Ashanti region. I've not lived outside Ashanti region for more than 1 year. That was where I was born and bred, and I still live there.
So maybe were you, when they were turning you away, you didn't speak Twi to them? Maybe they are looking at your looks and suspecting. Did you speak Twi to them or Dagari to them?
Well, Mr. Chairman, maybe I don't want to go deep into what transpired there, but what the officer that turned me away told me before sending me out was that was exactly how Rollins came up. And I was exactly doing what he did before he was enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces, and I thought it was unfair, but I could still do nothing about it.
He was likening you to Rollins?
Yes, and I suspected he disliked him, and that was why I wanted to go to the castle to report it.
Yes, shall we now move on to the main substance? Yes, who said the word? Honorable Afedagwesi. I didn't know you had a question.
You.
Gopoku on the CV, and then after that, Honorable Agwesi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I was trying very hard to catch your attention, but you were not looking at my side at all. Mr. Chairman, just one question. The honorable nominee participated in the World Congress on the, is it Juche idea? What is it?
Well, Juche is a North Korean language, which means self-reliance. So the Juche idea is self-reliance. April 2012.
Yeah, nominee. You are going to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. I would like to know from you, of late, a lot of people say the standard of football in the country is falling. And yet, when you go to our various communities, you see a lot of footballers who are playing very good football. Some small pole, some gutter to gutter, they are playing it. But at the national level, it appears to some that the standard is falling. Yesterday, we had a very bad, humiliating soccer match. If you go, if you get a nod, what are you going to do to assist your minister to bring seeming standard that is falling up so that our people will once again enjoy the game?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's not the standard that is falling, but I believe it is the scouting. And because we are not going down to the grassroots. If I talk about grassroots, I'm talking about the village level to be scouting for players. We have a lot of them undiscovered there, and I think that, like the NDC has put in its manifesto, to go down again, revamp the local level participation and competition to be able to get the qualities that we have that are not up in the urban areas. And I think that assisting my minister to make this a reality, that we send competitions down, inter-schools and colleges, competitions that for the past years are not very active will come back again for us to get the quality that we have. And with the support of government, I think that we can be doing better than we are doing now. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Baba Jamal, Honorable Harun Idrisu.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to congratulate the nominee who has been at the forefront of the NDC party in the Ashanti region supporting Yao Bimpe and Abeyi and Co. But you are going now as Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports. There are issues about possible ghost names on the NYP role. Will you support your minister to clean it? And how do you intend to support him to achieve that? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To assist the minister to achieve the goals and objectives of this government into coming into power. And my minister, just some few days back, established a committee to look into the NYEP issue. And he has all my fullest support because I know he's going according to the vision and plan of the NDC government to make sure that corruption is, if not eradicated, bring to the minimal level. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Benita Okitidua.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable nominee, I want to know, last year, Team Ghana returned from London from the Olympic Games without any medals. I want to know what proposals you're going to give to your minister to ensure that our next participation in the Olympics in Rio 2016, we will come back with some medals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm here to meet my minister on this and decide on what to do. But I think that developing the lesser known sports is one way to improve our performance at competitions. If you look at the just ended Olympic Games, North Korea won a lot of medals just with swimming, and Ghana came out without medal, a gold medal. And I think that we have a lot of talents around, just develop those talents in the lesser known sports, and we can also be coming with some laurels, as well as developing the ones we know how to do best, football and others. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Baba Jamal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And let me also take the opportunity to congratulate my brother. I've had the opportunity to work with him as the regional secretary when I was the deputy general secretary. And I must say that I have no doubts at all about your capabilities. But of course, you are going to offer a new office, which is the Youth and Sports as deputy. And as you know, deputies always are supposed to be the operational officers because they do a lot of work. And the first thing I want to ask, I have 3 questions. One, when we were doing the elections, you have been the arrowhead of the NDC in the Ashanti region. You made a statement, and maybe I want you to explain here, that some people will vote half, others may not vote at all, and that you will ensure that thing will happen in the Ashanti region. What were you doing? Because I know that particular statement raised a lot of tension in the region. What did you mean? And did that contribute to your 600,000 votes when you were hunting for human beings? The second thing is youth and sports. Always we put so much emphasis on the sports. We talk about football and leave even other aspects. I'm looking at the youth. Can you identify one thing that you will recommend to your ministry that will give some hope to the youth of this country? And then finally, the ministry you are going to is a ministry that is the passion of the nation. And as you said yesterday, we suffered this humiliation by our archivers. If anybody should score us at all, it shouldn't be Nigeria. But now Nigeria has done this to us. That place is a place where you need a lot of calming and very level-headedness. But I know you to be a very hot-blooded person. Wherever Yamin is, there's action. Are you taking this aggressiveness there, or how are you going to manage yourself there? I want to know that. I want to say, how are you going to sustain that passion vis-a-vis your activity to ensure that we have some calmness in that, especially a ministry that is supposed to be a very difficult ministry? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I start with the first question. Yes, I made that statement that there were three things involved in the just ended elections, and that the maximum vote each person could cast is one, and some will have the opportunity to vote half, others will not vote at all. And I made that statement coming from the experience of 2008 and 2004, where we witnessed people voting multiple. I mean, somebody could, in an instance, Kwadasu, for instance, somebody voted the whole booklet, and nothing was done to him. So I was just proposing to other parties that we should go by the electoral system, where each and everybody has the right to vote one. Again, some people voted with ghost cards, and we have the records of them. And those people will not have the opportunity to vote this time around, just because the political parties and the security services will ensure that the right things are done. And so those that will be in the queue with ghost ID cards attempting to vote will themselves leave the queue without voting. And I term that to be a half voting, because you've made an attempt of going to vote. Then when they get home and report to those, half, yes. And those in the house preparing to also come and do as they did, when they inform them that if you make an attempt, you are going to be arrested as the law requires, they will not even venture to come out to do it. And they are the people I classified as not voting at all. So I had no, ill intention about anybody, but just protecting the laws of this country and ensuring. And indeed, we had one man, one vote in Ashanti region, and the real vote was what was recorded. Then the second question, yes, the passion is there, but I think that the passion will be there to protect the interest of the government. That one, I can assure that I will not be bullied over. Will assist my minister to ensure that what we've enshrined in our constitution manifesto is what we are going to apply, at least for Ghanaians to judge us based on the promise we gave them. That one, I think that Yamin's passion will be seen. But apart from that, Yamin is a calm person. I relate very well to everybody, easily adjust to any environment that I find myself in there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Ileche.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, let me say that this is the second time I'm interviewing Mr. Yamin. And Yamin, I will congratulate you once again for catching the eye of the president. I know you have done very well in your life. You are a party person. You just talked about the manifesto. Now, what is in the manifesto relating to this ministry that you are going to, that you can remember and share with us? What are the objectives that are mentioned in the manifesto about youth and sports?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the manifesto of the NDC, when it comes to youth, the NDC government set itself out there to establish a 10 million Ghana cedi fund to take care of youth that wants to enter into their own business, entrepreneurship. And that is what the government wants to do. And this fund would be directly under the supervision of the Office of the President. And the government wants to do this. If it does that, which the government is committed to do, a lot of youth with very good proposals, very good business plan, will access this fund and start business on their own and come to augment what the NYEP is doing now, JIDA. So we have people that will be employed, the youth will be employed, and others will be set up to do their own business. Then when it comes to sports, the government is proposing that we go further in putting sports facilities to the district level. So in the, getting close to the MMDAs to make sure that the district assemblies put up sporting facilities, especially recreational centers, where the youth as well will have places to be meeting and putting ideas and helping the government. And these are few of what is enshrined in our manifesto. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, Omoya, nana ko kre, tanala son, puo pelenka jine, ejinye ayela yela, aka elo deputy minister, Baraka.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I think that we are entitled to understand.
Can you tell us what he said?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At least a summary of it, he was just wishing me well.
Okay, Honorable Kujetabla.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Indeed, we all wish Honorable Yamin well. I want to congratulate him. He's a very hardworking young man. And monitoring from his Facebook page, I see that a lot of young people in the Ashanti region have followed him here, and I'm very grateful to His Excellency the President for the nomination. I have two questions, Mr. Chairman. The first one has to do with an interview he granted on May 3, 2011, about a supposed death threat on his life. Interestingly, one of the people who were supposed to be in that plot against him is Baba Jamal at the time, together with the Ashanti Regional Minister and the KMA boss. With hindsight, do you think that that threat had any basis? And do you now feel safe? Because at the time you said you didn't feel safe at all. My substantive question, Mr. Chairman, has to do with ongoing investigations at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. There has been a lot of interest in the state of JIDA and then a certain Maputo report. In preparing for this vetting, what have you heard about these matters which have generated so much national interest? And how are you going to assist the minister to get to the bottom of these matters. I'm done, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Already there is a committee in place by my minister to investigate this. And if I am given the nod by Honorable House, I will play any role that my minister will assign me in getting to the bottom of this matter. As I'm to assist him, I am perfectly ready to assist him on that issue. With the interview, it was based on an Alaji newspaper report, and Mr. Chairman, I think that the editor, Alaji Bature, may be the best person to give the truth of it, but I was just granting interview based on the newspaper allegation, but I think that from that point, I never saw anything of that, especially my relationship with Honorable Baba Jama. So I don't think he would want to harm me.
Right. Honorable nominee, as a young man, do you have any ideas as to how this government can make an attempt at solving the youth unemployment problem the country currently faces?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that the NDC has summarized it in our manifesto, and I sincerely believe that as a youth, setting up on our own happens to be the problem, because the banks are not prepared to be giving assistance to persons who are not well established. And that is the main reason why the government, headed by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is setting up this 10 million Ghana Cedi fund to help the youth that wants to go into their private business. And I think this is one way that will go a long way in helping the youth unemployment issue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Before we discharge you, let's acknowledge the presence of a few dignitaries here. Mrs. Teresa Yamin is here. That's the wife of the nominee. Florence Fianu, the mother, is also here. Now, ex-Staff Sergeant Livingston, the father, is also here. And we have delegations from Offenso traditional area, that's the chiefs. Nana Chiame Kweku Wiafe, Nana Kofi Abuaje III, Nana Kwahen Kwajo, and Prince Mahama. From the Tepa traditional area, we have Nana Mwateng and Kobi Ahene of Tepa. We have Naba Mohammed Kabori, Zongo Chief of Tepa, and Abdul Rahman Basari, Chief of Tepa. Now, the regional executive of the NDC in Ashanti region, led by Yao Obimpe as chairman. Now, all the regional secretaries, NDC, constituency executives from Ashanti region are here. Thank you very much for giving moral support to the nominee. Honorable nominee, thank you for attending upon this committee. You are discharged.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.